So around a month ago I made a video regarding Glitch and his situation surrounding what happened almost 2 years ago. This video went quite well, but I was criticised by people who were seen as friends to me, and I even lost this friend due to the fact that they'd recently befriended Glitch. So in their mind, Glitch is innocent because he's their friend. So around about a week and a half ago, Glitch uploaded an apology video and brought closure to it all, or did it. So to begin with, Glitch had an extremely shady way of uploading this video, so he uploaded the video and then set it to age restricted. No big deal, right? Yes, it is a big deal because basically blocked 90% of his audience from watching the video. Because when you set something to age restriction, it basically removes the ability for anyone without a credit card or ID hooked up to YouTube to watch the video. It also stops the video from going out at all, but luckily I downloaded it. Now why would I be saying luckily? Well, because Glitch removed the video after about 5 days of all of this.
Knock knock, who's there? 1 year of this sick furry meeting. I'm gonna kill myself. So listen, it's
just jump in.
A previous friend of Glitch's, Ragehound, had reached out to me, inquiring if I had a copy of the video, and I just happened to have. I re-uploaded on my channel and set it to unlisted, sent it to them, and they mentioned making a response, of which I said I was going to as well. Instead of making her own, she decided to give her testimony to me, of which we'll be looking at later on in the video. But Ragehound and a few of her friends decided to sit down and pick apart Glitch's video, and here's a few snippets of the video itself.
They manipulated me at times. I mean, they tried claiming publicly that I stole a fursuit. Hell, they tried claiming I stole the Glitch fursuit, but I completely debunked this in the document. But because I'm not planning on publishing the document right now, I think it's best to at least include the screenshot that shows that they're saying I do own the Glitch suit in its entirety. But it's also worth noting that we've talked a lot in private since their posts, which in all honesty is something I firmly believe most people should do before callouts, because why would you call something out unless you want the attention?
Okay, so in recent times there's been a bit of controversy surrounding Glitch's fursuit. They had originally made a trade for which Glitch would build a PC for them in exchange for the suit, but the problem came up when the actual value of the materials in the PC versus the actual suit itself. While Glitch shows more screenshots as clear and concise evidence that he is in the right, the more you actually read the screenshots in the background, it seems like Glitch is the dominator of this argument, with the artist wanting nothing else but to stop talking about without fear of being harassed by Glitch's ensuing hate mob, which is completely valid. But it seems like this isn't a mutual agreement rather than a forced one by the wording and speech of the actual text. But formulate your own thoughts on this.
We completed both ends. So that's, but then there was some argument about the value, and I was like, okay, it's a lot. The week that shit went down is the week that I made a very, I'm gonna leave it at interesting purchase. I don't know if it's what, I don't know if I want to talk about this publicly. I really don't. I'm gonna move on, and if I choose to talk about this publicly in the future, I'll post an update or some fucking shit. I don't know, but I really don't want to talk about this anymore because it really hurts. It hurts so fucking bad.
Glitch then rambles on about some mystery purchase that he doesn't wish to speak about, but that's what I don't understand. Why bring it up and then ramble on about it for 5 minutes if it's something you don't want to talk about? See, the thing about Glitch is he can't write scripts for shit, as we'll talk about later. When he actually writes stuff down, it's like Trisha Paytas having her 15th breakdown in the Wendy's car park.
Huh? What? Oh. Okay.
But we
I
move.
really hoped I'd never have to talk about this again. However, I feel obligated in order to just clear my conscience and explain what happened from my perspective and let everyone properly form their opinions before I even talk about these situations in more detail. However, I want to explain, I don't want anyone getting harassed or attacked or anything. I know what these people have accused me of is so fucking wrong. And faking these allegations is even worse. But in all honesty, even though I haven't talked about it for years now, I think if they're like me, I think everyone wants to just move on. You're going to see in this explanation that nobody who was involved in these accusations actually believes them. So why should we keep talking about this? The only reason I want to talk about this is because every time my name gets thrown out somewhere, for whatever reason, whether it be I made a bad joke, right? Or even something like the suit thing. Like, the suit thing alone brought these fake accusations back up. I really hoped I'd never have to talk about this again. However, I feel obligated in order to just clear my conscience and explain what happened from my perspective and let everyone properly form their opinions before I even talk about these situations in more detail. However, I want to explain, I don't want anyone getting harassed or attacked or anything. I know what these people have accused me of is so fucking wrong. And faking these allegations is even worse. But in all honesty, even though I haven't talked about it for years now, I think if they're like me, I think everyone wants to just move on. You're going to see in this explanation that nobody who was involved in these accusations actually believes them. So why should we keep talking about this? The only reason I want to talk about this is because every time my name gets thrown out somewhere, for whatever reason, whether it be I made a bad joke, right? Or even something like the suit thing. Like, the suit thing alone brought these fake accusations back up. For those who don't know, I conceptualized, directed, and wrote a project called Yif the Musical for a majority of 2019. I started this project as a distraction from my mental health in college, as my college friend group had ditched me at the time, and I didn't want to be stuck doing nothing and left to my own thoughts. At the time, and still to this day, I have really, really bad suicidal outbursts and mood swings. 1 minute, I'll be fine, but then I might see something I really dislike, and an intrusive thought will tell me, hey, you know what, you should end it all. But in all honesty, the only reason I'm still here is because I'm actually pretty bad at trying to die. I scripted an entire show that I personally thought was pretty damn funny. I wrote some original lyrics, but now it was time for actual music to be attached, and this is where Stixelfox enters. They were someone I knew of barely on Twitter before Yif the Musical, which is what I'll be calling Yif the Musical from here on out forward. YTM is just a better abbreviation, but by the end of the script writing phase, which ended around, I think, August, I had considered us to be good friends, and I think they considered that too. I admit it's been 2 years since this happened, so my memory might not be the best, so forgive me if some details get left out while we talk about this. If major details get forgotten, I'll make a follow-up video or answer in the comments or description or anything. My goal here isn't to leave things out. It's to give a more full picture of the story.
What the fuck what do you mean? How have you, man, you're just ruining it. Look at my lips, you're ruining it.
Looking back, I should have been better about the situation. I feel as though I put Stixel in a stressful situation, one that certainly could have been avoided had I just seen the frankly obvious signs of some mental health issues, and I could have been a better person. I treated them like a boss more than a friend, and that's a problem I still struggle with to this day sometimes, and I'm trying to be better about it. But after these arguments continued, one day Stixel just snapped and left the YTM chats. I made a bad decision. I should have reached out to them, but instead I was angry and I took to Twitter to post about it for some stupid reason. I said some things I shouldn't have said. I said some things I personally didn't mean, but...
So Glitch begins speaking about the actual call-out regarding the musical, Stixel, Clovis, and all that shit. So the YTM stuff basically stemmed from Glitch being a fucking idiot and taking everything from a private setting into the public eye. So instead of fixing it all, he just amplified Stixel's mistrust and handling of the situation. This will be important later. Glitch later explained to Stixel, and Glitch had almost been competing for Ollie, the criminal in all the story. So Ollie chose to stick with Glitch, causing more bad blood between the two, and this is where the timeline, I believe, they stopped speaking.
That being said, let me give more context to the situation to the best of my ability, starting off with my friendship with Clovis. At the time, I knew Stixel. I also knew Clovis. We were all in a giant friend group together, and as per such, we all knew each other. One night, Clovis had a really personal question, and I reluctantly obliged, trying to be a good friend. They had a question along the lines of buying condoms or something about how to not be awkward or if it's even allowed. I said, listen, I don't think you should be doing that, but if you're going to do it, you should at least be safe about it. We had a personal conversation about maintaining health, including our talk about our individual battles with depression. They later asked if I was going to BLFC, and I said yeah, thinking we were friends. I was trying to be a good friend and a good person, because I've made mistakes in my past, and I didn't want them making a similar mistake. The next morning, I woke up and realized that the conversation last night was really awkward. I had several anxiety attacks because up until that point, I hadn't really talked to this friend group about those heavy topics before. I hadn't really talked publicly even about those, and let alone Clovis. I felt like a burden, and I felt like me sharing my experience with clinical depression may have felt like a weight to them. So I deleted the conversation. Looking back, this was a big mistake. One mistake in a long chain of many.
Here's where the main character of all this comes into. First and foremost, why are you, a 20-year-old person, associating with a 15 to 16-year-old person? I feel awful when speaking to someone younger than me, let alone a huge amount like this. But as it was explained to me, there are two friend groups. Clovis had a group of minors they hung around with, and the other group was made of content creators like Mythical Red Fox, Cobbs, and Stixel. So if Glitch is friends with Clovis at this point, but not Stixel, can you guess which friend group Glitch is in? Just more food for thought. So then Glitch gets asked by a 15 to 16-year-old what they should do about purchasing condoms and how to be not awkward about it. You know, something like you don't ask a random fucking furry on the internet. Ask someone in your life who's qualified for this, like a fucking guardian. Right, I don't buy this. This isn't taking accountability, this is a pity piece. If this conversation was just about your own mental health and what you mentioned about Clovis asked you, if you responded in a normal manner for an adult, then surely you'd have nothing to worry about. But we'll get into that later.
I was also in communication with a few people who were helping me out, or so I thought at the time. The words echoed around the world. The pure disrespect in those words hurt me as well as the other people they're aimed at, because we'll find out later who he's referring to in this instance. After the call out was posted, I didn't know what to do or say. I recorded a video will. I went to a few close friends at the time who agreed to help me. Most notably, Rage and PK Russell.
Hey, I'm walking here. I'm really excited to...
Listen to me. We don't talk like that. We don't say things like that. You understand?
On February 10th, 2013, a channel will be created by the name of Ragehound. Rage was a fursuiter, and her first video being uploaded on the 17th of March 2017. Her channel began as every other furry channel does, all about fursuiting, but Rage's channel became massively popular in the early 2017-2018 timeline when she shifted more towards commentary-like content, giving her hot takes on unpopular opinions while speaking over certain controversies. Rage would make a name for herself as a trustworthy source of news in the fandom. All of that trust and reputation, which would be eventually lost when she attempted to help Glitch. While being in contact with Glitch, Rage told me that she was the first one to call. When the original call out dropped, her and Glitch had been quite good friends, and she helped him a lot with writing public addresses, and them both being from New York, they've grown a bond from much earlier than this whole controversy. Rage defended Glitch as much as she could, wanting to find out if he was truly guilty of what he was accused of. If you don't believe me personally, here's a film testimony from Rage herself.
I'm recording this video for the purpose of giving my testimony on the events that happened, my reaction to how they were mentioned by Glitch in his video that was up and then was promptly privated. I had a chance to see it. I had a chance to react to the entire video in full. And while I can't speak to some of the instances regarding his fursuit and all that jazz, I can speak to the issue that happened with Clovis. Because as he so eloquently put, he no longer considers me a friend, and I did try to help get some kind of information or closure together during a time when accusations were flying, allegations were everywhere, and evidence was basically not present whatsoever. Now, as some of you guys might know, I, myself, and several of our friends who are very, very skilled at moderating, finding information, usually for the purpose of getting rid of trolls in my chats, their chats, trying to get information to prevent stalkers from harassing myself or other YouTubers or other streamers that are in our friend group. That is typically what we do if something happens. When the allegations first dropped, I went and tried to see if there was anything hard and conclusive that had come out yet. Any screenshots, any videos, photos, anything that physically showed that these conversations had happened or anything of the like. Initially, I could not find them. So, what myself, my fiance, and a dedicated group of our friends did is we spent the better part of a week putting all of our things aside, all of our free time, all of the time that I would have spent making new videos for my YouTube channel or planning out like streaming schedules, any time I had for myself, I spent trying to find information to figure out if, in fact, this person, who I still thought was a friend, had in fact done what they were being accused of. I want to make this very clear. I was not trying to clear their name. I was not trying to save them. I wanted to know with 100% certainty, as close as I could get it, if they had done what they were accused of. That's it. If they had in fact done what they were accused of, I was going to discontinue that friendship and distance myself professionally. If they had not, I wanted to prove that this was bullshit and it was false. At the end of it, I still don't really know what happened in those chats, and I suspect no one else does. And there's a few reasons for that. While we were compiling any evidence we could find to see what the fuck was going on, I was sent a full log download of Glitch's Telegram from his phone directly. I still have it. Now you might be saying, well, why didn't you crack it, Rage? Why didn't you open that shit right up? Well, as luck would have it, I had tweeted, very stupidly, that I had this log and that I had the intent to crack it and get some answers. Some people are like, you can't crack Telegram. Yes, actually you can. If you do know someone with that skill set, you can. And I did. Funnily enough, the minute I go to say this, Clovis decides to tell me that there is CP. I'm sure Labb will give an explanation what that is here. That there is CP in those files, and if I open them, I would also then be in possession of CP. Great. So obviously I didn't crack it because I don't want to fucking go to jail over this stupid argument that, to be honest, I'm not a part of. I was just trying to find information and get some damn closure on the whole thing. So I did what you do, and I sent it off to the authorities to the best of my ability, and as you may well know, they don't tend to give you updates on that sort of shit. So if in fact there was nothing on those logs but mental health chats like Glitch alleges, then probably wouldn't have gotten a knock on the door from the good old FBI. And from what I can tell, he has not. However, during the course of our search, we did find some information to suggest that some of the other players in that group might have done no-no things with younger people. I'm not going to say their name, because I don't fucking feel like getting sued, or having to hire another goddamn lawyer for another stupid thing that I get involved with that isn't even my fucking fault. So, curiously, while we're working all this shit out, we find like this other information. And it turns out, suddenly, Glitch isn't so enthusiastic about getting to the bottom of this as we are. Wouldn't you know it, a couple weeks later, Clovis and Glitch are back to being buddy-buddy, and the other person apparently still thinks I'm the spawn of Satan, and suddenly there are documents floating around with my name saying that I didn't crack the logs because I was defending Glitch, and I'd like to say right here and now, no, I fucking wasn't, and I definitely don't now. Because at the end of all of this, I wasted almost 2 to 3 weeks gathering information to try and get closure. And yes, I did send that information to PK Russell. Why? Because if I had tried to do a video like that, I know that my friendship with Glitch would have an inherent bias, and I didn't really know who else to trust. And given that PK Russell had already been severely burned by the Kiro incident, I felt more confident that he could go through the information we had gathered without a strong bias, understanding, like going through all of it and figuring out what was really going on there, whereas I didn't think I could do that. I know I would get angry, and I don't do the drama videos anymore because all they result in is pain and annoyance and just getting screamed at in the YouTube comments over and over. I just didn't want to fucking do it anymore. So PK Russell was the only one I trusted to give it to because I did not think he would have a bias. He had already been burned by Kiro, and that's the kind of content he makes anyway, and I did not want to be included. I didn't want to be named. I wanted nothing to do with it because up until this point, I had been harassed severely by anyone who thought I was still friends with Glitch. Constantly getting replies of, why are you friends with a pedophile? And I was sick of it. So I asked not to be named. In Glitch's new video, he drops my name, so thank you for not respecting my wishes on that. I wanted this to be so over and done with, and apparently you don't consider me a friend because you're clearly not really treating me like one. I stopped interacting with you publicly because of the sheer volume of harassment I was receiving. So that's my testimony. That was my involvement. That is what I understood. I don't understand why it was left out that Clovis had said that there was CP when I was trying to crack logs and figure it out for you. I don't know why there was no mention of the reason we were monitoring the chats. You don't bring that up, do you? Except, hey, did you know I was screen recording the entire thing in case this shit came up? The reason we were monitoring it is because every couple of sentences, Clovis would delete what he just wrote, setting you up to be accused of something because he had deleted the context of it, quick screenshotted it, and thrown it on Twitter. I didn't want that shit. I wanted everyone to write down their apologies with no bullshit, no deleting shit rapidly, which we knew he did, and no coaching. I was trying to make sure that when you said your apology, You didn't write it in such a way that if he deleted a sentence, it would make you look like shit, because I could see the context in which it was said. And I still have those screen recordings, by the way. I still have the logs, by the way. I still have all of the data we gathered, by the way. And in the end, you're still buddy-buddy with everybody that got in trouble, and I am still the asshole idiot who stuck their neck out. I stuck my neck out, my fiance stuck his neck out, and the thanks we got was none. Was getting a quick mention in your video where you talk about mental health and all that crap. Meanwhile, I was also subject to that shit, constant harassment. I'm dealing with a fucking stalker right now, which is really fucking fun. And who's helping me with that? Do I have a team of best friends who will stick their neck out and help me? No. No, because after we tried to help you, none of us trust that shit anymore because of what you did. I'm not saying that you did things with Clovis. No. I'm saying making us give up all of our free time to look up information, to see if we could figure out what really happened, to clear your name if it was false, or distance ourselves if it was true. And at no point did you really ever thank us for spending that much of our free time trying to get information, for helping you write an apology where you wouldn't have to worry about a sentence being deleted by Clovis before he screenshotted it and made you look like an asshole. Or the fact that I was under the impression from Clovis that there were CP photos in there, and I could have gotten myself in serious legal trouble for having that on my fucking computer. You didn't take any of that into account. And as for this video on accountability, you didn't fucking take any. You left shit out. But then again, I don't know why I'm even surprised at this point. I'm not really your friend anymore, right?
That video is extremely hard to watch, but Rage brings up a lot of amazing points in it. Nowhere in your video did you actually take accountability for anything glitch. You're not taking accountability, you're trying to save face so that in 2 to 3 weeks you can come back making your shit content and get paid exorbitant amount of money to do so. There's been so many people you've fucking burned, Rage, and other people like your fucking editor, and you never mention the actual issues about this, but instead you just tiptoe around it, speaking about how it affected you mentally. But as I said before, Rage brought up a lot of good points regarding some loose ends we've never covered, so let's cover them. Before we begin on the loose ends, all of these logs were sent to the authorities. You know, the FBI, CIA, MI5, KFC, ATF.
Jimmy, the ATF shot my fucking llama.
So as of yet, nothing has come back regarding this. And also, by the way, it wasn't just in simple chat extract. It was Glitch's entire Telegram Messenger app was sent, meaning group chats, saved photos, saved stickers, everything was sent to the police, and it's been almost 2 years and no knock on the door as of yet. So it's still very unknown what's happened. When I originally seen all of this come out, the sites were clearly set on Glitch and anyone who defended him, but nobody actually took a look at the person who was making said accusations. Now, while I'm not putting the blame on Clovis, these conversations and connections between Glitch and Clovis should have never happened. Screenshots like screenshots forwarded from Ketu Albrecht also show how Clovis acted in group chats outside of the situation. Right, so in a lot of these screenshots we see Clovis speaking to another person and being very, very forward. And this isn't me saying, oh god, look, Glitch, oh my god, look, Glitch is innocent, quick, get him. It's to show you that there's a growing problem in the furry fandom, in the way of kids being extremely inexplicably horny on the timeline. And it's how people like Glitch end up with weird questions about condoms from a 15-year-old. Plus, as well here, Clovis sends sexual content to someone before swiftly deleting it. This is disgusting, but we need to keep moving. Further awful interactions come from Clovis's main Twitter account here, so not only is Clovis being extremely sexually explicit in their humour and everyday speaking with friends at the age of 16, images of sexual speak like bottom and images of Clovis had been taken while browsing E621, which is an 18 plus website. Now detractors from all this may defend Clovis by saying, oh, it's a joke, he doesn't actually mean it. This is extremely damaging to everyone else in the entire social ecosphere of the fandom, because this is teaching younger people that it's okay being and acting sexually explicit in these ways. It's not. But not one of the screenshots led to another account, quite an infamous account. Clovis Mint's unofficial alt account, Future Protogen, can be seen defending him at almost every single turn. It's a way for Clovis to escape and vent, but after Clovis ended up in controversy as well as Stixel, he can be seen defending both and being somewhat of a white knight for himself. You really can't make this shit up, but this leads us to another person.
You a bitch. You know why you a bitch? Cause I said so. You just a bitchy bitch.
Right, I've had quite a turbulent history with Stixel myself, but let's talk about it. Much like Glitch, Stixel in his very early mid-20s and hails from Georgia. Stixel was on the other side of this, and a lot of people believe that Stixel weaponized Clovis against Glitch. Well, there's minimal evidence directly to prove this. There's also quite a lot. They also had quite a close relationship. As we can see here, Clovis and Stixel met up at BLFC in 2019. Clovis, aged 15 to 16 at the time, pictured here, and many messages have been shown surrounding Clovis and Stixel's relationship. So, like discussing being a bottom in Stixel's DMs while being 15 to 16 years old, and Stixel speaking about kink gear that he owns with Clovis in their DMs, while also speaking about being a cum dump apparently. But with this video, I'm not in favour for anyone here.
It's like, if I want to kill myself, I will. It's not hard to die. I could do it like right now. But like, number two...
Jesus Christ.
Right, let's get to the conclusion. Right, so finally to the conclusion. But there fucking is none. If you came here expecting me to find out who was in the right and who was in the wrong, both adults in this situation are extremely in the wrong, while people in the comments will justify Stixel and Clovis's actions as just jokes. You really can't. These are things that you should not be discussing with a 16-year-old over Twitter, or even calling them as a said name as a joke. It's even more disgusting. So this is basically a civil war is what I'm trying to say. Now, let me say one more thing about Glitch. Glitch is a manipulative, vindictive who, funnily enough, no longer want to seek anything against Clovis or Stixel. Why? Because apparently they're on buddy-buddy terms now again. So after 2 years of people wasting their time looking through your shit, Glitch, you turn around and toss them to the curb. Get the fuck out. That's my conclusion. Leave.